What's up, you guys? So I don't know if you can tell or not, but my voice is just about gone. Not really sure what's going on. Woke up the other morning and feels like I've been screaming and hollering all day, and it's not the case. Actually, this time I wasn't doing any yelling. Junior woke up, he was the same way. His voice was pretty bad. He's gotten better. Had a couple guys from work with scratchy voices, so I don't know, maybe something going around. But anyway, I'm gonna push through this video. I've had a lot of people ask me about Junior's first truck, this old 96 F-150. I want to give you a little update on that. At the end of the video, I'm going to show you some of the rust inhibitor stuff I've been using that I actually use on my boat, that I've done on the boat reviews. I've had a lot of people ask me about it, never had the can in hand. I'm going to go ahead and have it in hand and show you what I actually use. All right, so first things first, this old inline six, again, 1996 F-150. Not in bad shape. Got over 200 and something thousand. I think it's like 217,000 miles on it, and the light still works. So it's not in bad shape at all. If any of you guys know anything about mechanicking, hey, hit me up. I'm having an issue. The old issue, I can't get the air conditioner to come out the vent, only the defroster. I know it's a vacuum line somewhere, but I can't figure it out. I even got an old vacuum line here with some screws in it. that's some genius stuff there. Again, this was my nephew's truck, but you know, boys, as long as it starts and gets you from point A to point B, who cares, right? I can't figure out the vacuum line problem. I can't figure out what to get it from the defrost back to the vent. So still tracing this thing down, but he's got time. He don't get his license for a couple months, so I'm just trying to get all this stuff ready to go. But like I said, yeah, it's not a bad looking vehicle. I mean, little rust spots here and there. One of the main things you guys probably know, your brake booster always seems to rust, you know, around where it comes out to your canister there for your brake fluid. That's one of the things I do. If you guys know me, I kind of go above and beyond. I put some rust inhibitor all over that rust, and it kills it automatically. And I shouldn't say kills it, but stops it from rusting any more of the stuff I use. And again, I'll show you at the end. But yeah, if you guys got any ideas of where I need to look and what I need to do to try to get that vacuum line working right, it'd be greatly appreciated. So right here, the old faithful wing window, it actually broke on the inside. Just rusted out, it's broke. So I pole boyed it. I actually put a screw right here behind this tab, put a screw down in there, and just run a bead of black silicone all the way down, even over that screw to cover it, all the way here, because all you do is hear wind when you're driving down the road. Came in here, put a bead of silicone there as well. Again, my nephew, he didn't care. As long as it started and run, he didn't care. You know how boys are. And my son's pretty much the same way. He just wants to drive this thing and have a blast in it. But now as a parent, I got to make sure everything's running right. One of the problems I have in that wing window, just not closing all the way, is when it rains, it gets wet in here. And the carpet, letting it dry right now in the sun, the carpet is actually wet right here because when it's closed, water was getting in that wing window and getting it wet. But now we got that problem solved. So that's one of the things we got taken care of. You see in here, he doesn't have a rear view mirror, but I did buy him one. I'm not going to put it on because I'm going to get the window replaced. Actually, my first truck was an 87 Ford, and but I remember all these classic old school controls and everything. I mean, got a little fancy radio in here that plugs into his phone. That way he won't be holding his phone to his head while he's driving, even though he shouldn't be on the phone anyways. But let's be real, I'd rather have him talking through that and keeping his eyes on the road than holding the phone to his ear. So a couple more things I'll show you in the back. One of the main things, the engine has a exhaust leak. Now, I thought it might be coming from the manifold right off, you know, the motor. Took it to a mechanic. Mechanic says he don't think that's where it's at. He thinks it's a little further back, actually, in the second bolt up before it goes into your exhaust. So might be an easier fix. I mean, we're praying because it's going to be an expensive little gig if not. Now, I'm a mechanic. You know, I can fix your alternator. I can change your battery. I can fix a lot of stuff on here. But when it comes to stuff like that, I don't have a whole lot of patience, and I've got a history of snapping bolts. I can't tell you how many oil pans, transmission pans that I've had to replace because I just always give it a little bit more and a little bit more until finally. But anyway, so I'm gonna let somebody else professionally take care of that because I could just see myself screwing something up. So down the mirrors right here, we had a lot of rust because these brackets right here were rusting. I actually took these off. We put some rust killer on it overnight, cleaned it up, and I just sprayed these with a gray primer. We're gonna get new ones, but these are just to put back on until they come in. I don't like leaving that open in case it rains or something, and just in case those pieces don't come in like we want, at least he's got some brackets. We were gonna upgrade, but it said he likes this old school look, so we actually got that cleaned up by putting some rust inhibitor on there, actually rust killer. We put it on there for like 4 or 5 minutes and wiped it off with a towel, and it brought that right off without actually eating into the paint, so that worked out pretty good. So his third light right there, that was all rusted out, and without having to replace a big chunk of that roof, that way you can actually get the preset holes that are in there. For me anyways, I went ahead and just cut that out, and what I did was I actually filled that with foam, let that foam expand. I cut the foam back, and then I went back and put Bondo on top of that foam first. Then I went and took the little metal grating that goes in there that you put with your Bondo. I put the Bondo over that, sanded it down so it's real smooth. You can see smooth with the truck. And the problem I had was, the rust was actually under that rubber seal. So what I did, again, this isn't a show truck, this is just his first truck. Pulled that little rubber seal back, took some black silicone, ran under it, let the seal flip back up, and when it pushed that silicone out, I just rubbed it off nice and smooth, so now that thing's not going to leak anymore. It was leaking actually getting into the headliner in there. There was a water stain that we were actually able to get out, so there's another plus. So the law is, if you have a third brake light on your truck, it has to be working. I've already checked with a few people that do inspections, and they said as long as that's on, it has to work. If it's not on there, it doesn't, you don't have to worry about it. Even though that year model may have come equipped, as long as it's not on there and it's covered up, not to be used, then it doesn't have to work. Again, this side here, this was way worse with the rust stain all the way down the side. We got that off. Again, pulled these off, put some rust treatment on it overnight. It's a Vaporust is what it was, and put some of that good Rust-Oleum primer on there. That'll hold it till the new mirrors come in. Something we did, you notice when I open the door you don't hear anything. Should have had some audio. These things used to creak, boy, creak. Simple, just get some lube and spray it in them hinges, man. So back up here at the front, I am going to get them a new grill. They're actually pretty cheap. I found them on Amazon, just some plastic with that chrome cover. Found them pretty cheap, like 50 bucks. Gonna have to replace the headlights. Not gonna be able to get that dinginess out. And actually, these are only $34 at O'Reilly. Don't need the side, don't need the amber, just this. That's yellow, man. That's pretty bad. This one's even got a rust stain in there somehow. So replace those, and I think that's just about it. Of course, there was a lot of other things we did. Hinge, spraying some lube right here in the all the hinge points over here. Your little unlocking mechanism for the hood, just some simple stuff like that. Having a blast doing it, kind of teaching them, about the truck as we go along. Now, probably next weekend or the weekend after that, oil was changed not too long ago. Checked it, actually got a nice color, but we're going to go ahead and just change the oil fresh. That way I can teach him how to change it. He helps me on my truck all the time, but this is a different setup. Obviously, mine's a diesel. I got 13 quarts. This one's like 5 point something, whatever it is. I don't even know yet. I hadn't even checked it. I hadn't messed with these small engines in forever. And being it has 217,000 miles, my brother said they've never changed the transmission on it. I think he's had this truck like 3 years. We're going to go ahead and change the transmission fluid on that. 4.7 miles into town, and it's another 3 miles. Yeah, 3 point something miles to the school. So just say 8 miles to school, 8 miles back. So, if it can last them a couple years at 16 miles a day, I think we're going to be fine, and I think it will. So My nephew, he drove this thing everywhere. Man, I can't tell you how many times I've been offered cash for this truck. Twice, even 3 times the amount in cash than what I paid for it. Everybody loves these oldies, man. Everybody loves them. So anyway, that's what we did on the truck. The old 96 F-150. This is actually, looking right here, it says limited edition. Now I don't know what's limited about it. Maybe it's because it has the snaps on the side that you can put a cover. I don't really know. I haven't seen anything on the inside that's different than any of the other trucks. But anyway, so yeah, cool, man. I can't wait to get this thing back from the mechanic when he gets the exhaust leak fixed and Junior has his first truck. So like I said, let me go grab the lubricants, the rust inhibitors, and I'll show you what I use, and we'll end this video. So the one I'm always talking to you guys about is the T9 bow shield. This stuff is outstanding. I use it on everything from boats to vehicles. Now this stuff isn't very thick. Let me tell you what, let me spray it right here. You can see it's kind of runny, right? Once you spray it on, it'll actually get a little tacky, and it'll stay pretty good. Now, where I use the T9 are on electrical components that aren't really exposed to the environments that much. If it's something that you want to spray on, but it's going to be kind of tucked under something, not just sitting out in the sun, I'll use the T9 because it's a little bit more tacky, and it's very good for rust, corrosion, whatever you spray this on. I mean, I guarantee you, hell, I'll give you your money back if it don't. Whatever it touches, it will not rust, it will not corrode, it'll pretty much kill it right then and there. So that's my #1 rust inhibitor that I use on everything. Now, here's the Corrosion X. So Corrosion X, I use this on my boat. I've told you guys I use it on all my harnesses underneath the center console. Where I like the Corrosion X, and the only place that I'll use Corrosion X because it's pretty thin and it can be washed off with water. I like to use the Corrosion X when you unplug harnesses, spray inside the harness. It's made for that. It's electronically safe. That's what it's made for, okay? Unplug the harness, spray it on both sides, plug it back. I only use that on places I know that water can't get to it to wash it off, or it's not exposed, because like I said, it's real thin. It doesn't stick to what you're spraying very long. It has like a bluish tint to it, bluish, and like I said, it's real thin. So that, to me, that's for more things that I would plug in, even in your vehicles. If you go inside your vehicle and you pull your little all your little fuses out, you can spray that in there and put the fuses back in, and that works good because it's real thin. It doesn't get real sticky and tacky like the other stuff. Again, the T9 is what I use on my engine, especially. You know, I've showed you guys, I spray that over everything, and it keeps it looking 100% just like the day I bought it. It's more for corrosion and rust, where I know the Corrosion X says corrosion also, but the Corrosion X, I like it to, mainly it's a lubricant as well, especially for harnesses, something you're going to unplug later. It'll stay in there and won't let it get gummed up and not plug while still having great protection. I know some of you guys may be kind of confused, but I think some of you probably understand what I'm saying as far as the thickness of the inhibitor and what not to use. Now, this is one of the rust killers I do like to use. It's a jelly, so when you put it on there, what it does is when you put it on wherever it's rusting, when it eats it up, it'll turn that steel black, and you simply just wash it off, kind of rub it off with a rag or something, and then you're ready to prime or paint, whatever you want to do. Now, the Evapo-Rust is what I use for his mirror brackets on the truck. That's a real thick jelly. I mean, that stuff, it's very sticky. When you put it on, it can hold itself vertically. It does not run whatsoever. So that's another good stuff. All right, guys, so hope I didn't bore you. Just wanted to kind of give an update on the truck. Like I said, I've had a lot of people ask me about Junior's truck, which I think is cool. Appreciate you guys asking about that. So, of course, we're going to give you, when we get that truck fully fixed, on what it looks like, and show you. Probably let him drive the boat. Probably let him pull the boat. I'm kind of scared about it, but he pulls it in my truck all the time, but we'll just have to see what his truck does. All right, so, hey, I'm going to let y'all get out of here. Just like every time we end the video, every chance you get, wet a line, let an arrow fly, or put some rounds down range. We'll see y'all next time.